Here's the scene. 5-year-old me is sitting in the middle of the living room holding a piece of old worn cloth. Now, to any adult, even to you or me, this might seem useless. It's trash. But to me right then, it was a superhero escape, a portal wide open to infinite possibilities. I clipped it on to the back of my shirt and ran around the room, pointing at people a stick I found in the garden and declaring myself the savior of the living room. I was basically your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, only with more snack breaks. How do children turn random junk into entire worlds? It's truly bizarre for me to think that even I could wonder like that once. There isn't any rule book or tutorial. Nobody taught me how to do that. I just knew. But sometime between my childhood and my current teenagers, I stopped seeing a piece of cloth as a cape. Sometime between playing with toys and my insane growth spurt, I was given an invisible checklist. Be serious, be responsible, be productive, and definitely don't be childish. So I stopped with my silly behavior. I stopped playing. I stopped with my insane what if questions. What if dreams had sequels? What if mirrors judged you? What if your inner child was literally a tiny person inside you, absolutely exhausted by your spreadsheets? Like, not another Excel file, please. I forgot to wonder, imagine, and to be ridiculous. And when we forgot to be ridiculous, we started confusing two words that sound similar but are worlds apart: childish and childlike. Now, you're probably wondering, what's the difference? Let's break it down. Childish is the selfish bit, arguing over the last sandwich, refusing to share your toys, throwing a fit because the cake isn't butterscotch. It's naiveness combined with selfishness, pure ego, and no empathy. Childlike, though, that's where the magic lies. It's placing wonder before logic, believing in what lurks in the dark, trying to launch an eraser into orbit. It's naiveness, but combined with wonder, pure joy, and no responsibility. Imagine a childish adult. They slam the door because someone dared to have a different opinion. They demand their favorite table at a restaurant. They get into angry outbursts if something remotely small falls out of expectation. Now imagine a childlike adult. They play in the rain. They're genuinely curious about what you have to say, and they're imaginative and creative. One is exhausting, and the other is delightful. Childish is something we need to outgrow, but childlike, that's something we desperately need right now. Now, what would you consider adult like? Here's what I picture: spreadsheets, deadlines, and meetings about meetings. But it wasn't always this boring. Think about that time as a child, you did something incredibly stupid. Maybe you got into trouble for that one, like trying to microwave a spoon or trying to see if you could fly by jumping off the couch. Come on, everyone has an incident like that. We were all childlike ones. We didn't care about logic and reason. We believed in unicorns and fish in outer space. You know, I once made up an entire language when I was a child. It took me days. I took words I commonly used and replaced them with gibberish. Over the next few days, I tried different sounds, checked what sounded good, and noted them down. I even wrote this new language I'd invented from right to left on paper. Because honestly, why not? And at the end of it all, I walked up to my friends and talked to them in this new language I'd invented and laughed as they looked at me, baffled. Where did this version of me go? Well, as I got older, I realized something. That delight is embarrassing. That imagination is immature. That asking too many questions was annoying. Of course, we could blame society for all this, but society is just a bunch of people, just like you or me, juggling different things, rushing to different places on time, and just giving adult energy. We all have this same problem, and we only have ourselves to blame. We taught ourselves to be mature. We taught ourselves to be proper and perfect. We taught ourselves that success doesn't come with curiosity. It's funny. Try explaining adult environments to a child. It would be very weird trying to explain to a child the things we go through every day. That's because children make mistakes. They cherish each small thing. You can't just put them in a place and tell them how to act. It doesn't work like that. They don't care about what others think. But we do anything to avoid embarrassment, even if it means avoiding growth and enjoyment. You know, if you think about it, there are very less childlike people in the world, but a lot of childish people. If the oat milk in this coffee is slightly foamy instead of frothy, it's a disaster. They argue over each other's opinions on which smartphone brand is the best, like it's the end of the world. Go to any office meeting. It's like a playground of kids. You've got the loud kid who won't let anyone else talk, that one kid who wants to change the game halfway through, and the quiet kid who had the best idea an hour ago but is still waiting to be called on. On a playground, kids make up the rules as they go, and somehow it works. In an office meeting, we write the rules down on a handbook and we still ignore them. I want you to think about this for a moment. You know, as children, we'd sing and dance and we wouldn't care about what others thought. We'd also think about strange thoughts and share them without any fear of judgment. Now, in our current life, these exact situations have translated into singing in the shower and shower thoughts. We've just shifted the audience from humans to shampoo bottles. This is where we've come to. We still have that spark in us, that inner desire to wonder. Have you seen a child just running towards a butterfly, stopping everything just to look at it? Most adults don't do that. We walk right past the wonder because we're too busy. Too busy being mature, too busy being realistic, too busy being perfect. We say things like, grow up, don't be so naive, be realistic. But when did cynicism become wisdom? When did boredom become a badge of adulthood? We traded in awe for apathy and we called it progress. Here's the truth. The world isn't exactly starved for perfect, mature versions of ourselves. We need that guy who doodles on napkins, that guy who names his plants, that guy who spectates every sunset. So bring back that part of you that wore capes made of curtains, that gave your pencil a name, that believed the stick was a sword and a puddle was the ocean. Not to escape adulthood, but to survive it with your curiosity intact. You don't have to rip up the checklist. Just stop letting it tell you who you're allowed to be. Because childlike wonder doesn't disappear. It just waits for a gap in the noise, for a moment when you're bored enough to see a portal again. You don't have to quit everything and run through sprinklers, but if it rains tomorrow, maybe don't rush inside so fast. Thank you.